Live from the 504, it's Mr. Crazy Flow, jumping like a bungee, no rope. Even in the dungeon, I glow. Even if it ain't sunny, I glow. If it ain't about money, I go. Nowhere, I'm nailed to the floor. Money controls where I go. It is the sail to my boat. And it's going down like there's a whale in the boat. So you can smell that and yeah, I sip that. You hit me with that combination, it make my eyes bleed. I am a shark in the water. Yeah, I swim with the bigs. See, I don't have time to deal with lily pad. Look at the monster. Yeah, you don't want to crash like la 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 bamba. Welcome to the Bush and Me Show. You like that?
Much better.
I've been practicing it for months.
I can tell.
Welcome to the Bush and Me Show. We're here in one of my favorite cities. We're in New Orleans, posted up outside, actually inside of Desi Vegas Steakhouse.
Very nice place there. Nice vibe. If you guys are looking for a nice white tablecloth place to go out, grab something to eat.
Place to take the lady to. Grab a couple friends. Come on out, holler at Desi Vegas. He will take care of you, just like he took care of me, Bush, and
me.
You know what it is.
Make sure everybody at that table's following Bush and me, though.
You got to follow. If not, it's just a click. I mean, you can't take 2-3 seconds out of your life just to click for us. You know?
There you go. Thank you, guys. So here we are. We're in New Orleans. It's Wildcard weekend. These are our NFC Wildcard picks. We're going to start with the game. The game we'll be attending this weekend.
It's the reason we're here.
It's the reason we're here.
It's the reason for the season.
10-6 Minnesota Vikings, traveling to New Orleans, 13-3. So Vegas has this line at 8. So they're saying the Saints should handle this game pretty easily. It's a rematch of 2 years ago. Minnesota Miracle.
You don't let no Saints
say it too loud in this place.
You don't want to say it too loud. Be very, very quiet.
It was Case Keenum hit Stephon Diggs in the closing seconds, 2017.
But on a better note, the last time they came here for a playoff game, you already know what happened. It was back in 2009-2010 season, so it's got some history.
NFC Championship game, for those you guys didn't know.
Yeah.
One of us was on the field and went to the Super Bowl. I'll let you figure that one out. There's a big difference this time around from that Music City Miracle game, though, 2 years ago. This game is in New Orleans.
You said Music City Miracle, the Minnesota
Miracle.
That's why we're here for each other, the Bush and me. We complete each other's sentences.
So this game is in New Orleans this year. So the Saints they've won 7 of their last 8 since 2000 at home.
This is a hard place to play.
It's a tough place to play. We're gonna find out tomorrow when we're there.
Yes, we are. Oh, you're going?
Yeah. Can I go with you?
I didn't get your ticket, so you better find one yourself.
Somebody out there, take me with you. We'll probably end up in a suite or something.
Wow, that's sweet life.
Look for a lot of big plays in this game, maybe? How about this first stat? The Saints and the Vikings are ranked 2nd and 5th, respectively, in turnover differential this season. So you would think a lot of hard hitting, a lot of smart defensive plays, a lot of turnovers lead to big things here. However, the Saints offense set an NFL record this year with only 8 turnovers in the whole season.
That's a recipe to get you into the playoffs, and that's a recipe that you're going to have to get you to the big game.
That's in the whole season. Some people do that in 2-3 weeks.
I mean, if you're Jameis Winston, you probably do it in a game and a half.
Or half a game.
I mean, look, Jameis, like what did Jameis say? He did ball.
He did ball.
But he gave the ball away
Much
too
respect.
many times to the other team. But if he can keep that up for next year, we'll talk about that on the show. But if he can keep that up for next year,
he'll keep balling. But 8 turnovers, man, that's huge.
That's pretty significant.
A lot of that starts with the quarterback. The quarterbacks in this game are trending in different directions.
The older Drew Brees gets, the better he gets.
He's like a fine wine.
It is.
He's been on a tear recently. You were at the game a couple weeks ago. He set the NFL record for touchdowns. He's thrown 16 touchdowns and 0 interceptions in his last 5 games. 0 interceptions.
That's pretty impressive.
Kirk Cousins, on the other hand, kind of been trending down. He's thrown at least 3 interceptions in 3 of his past 4 games. That's 9 turnovers right there in 4 games. Saints have 8 all year, just to put that in perspective.
Minnesota better find a way to get that under control, because you do not want to give Drew Brees and the Saints any short fields, any more added possessions. Make the Saints go the long haul. Make them go the long haul if you want a chance to win this game.
There is one positive for Kirk Cousins. This game is not primetime.
Actually, hold on now. It is a primetime game. It is playoffs. It's not a Monday night. If it was a Monday night game, you might as well go ahead and just chalk it up as an L for the Minnesota Vikings.
So Kirk Cousins is 0-9 career on Monday Night Football. That's where that reference comes from. Like he said, it's not a prime time game because it's not at night, but it is every playoff game, like you said.
Yeah.
Win or go home, prime time, prime time. So let's jump into this game a little bit. When the Saints have the ball, what name jumps out at you?
Mike T. Well, after Drew Brees, it's definitely Mike Thomas.
This year it's got to be Mike Thomas.
Yes. I can agree with that. Mike Thomas has he set an NFL record. That was the game versus the Titans. 149 catches, 1,725 yards, 9 touchdowns. The next closest person was Julio Jones with almost 1,400 yards. His Mike Thomas's social media handle is Can't Guard Mike, and he has shown you that he's very hard to guard. This year, sometimes beating. I'm not even gonna say sometimes. A lot of the times, beating double coverage. But the one thing about Mike T and Drew Brees, they have a really good relationship. They understand that Drew Brees is probably the most accurate quarterback that's ever going to play in the NFL. So he knows the places to put the ball.
Let me give this stat for you.
Give it to me.
100 of his 149 catches.
Put it in perspective for me.
So 2/3 of his catches are within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. So you can't guard him. I mean, he's making the moves within the 10-yard. I mean, how do you guard that? You can't. You know what else that means?
A lot of yak.
A lot of yards after catch. So he's catching the ball. He's making his moves. He's getting his yard. I mean, that's gonna be tough for Minnesota to stop.
A bright note for the Minnesota Vikings though. Mm-hmm. Dalvin Cook is supposed to be healthy.
Correct.
He's been nursing the shoulder. It's going to have to be full strength in the Superdome on Sunday. So
he hasn't played in 2 weeks. He's coming back from that hurt shoulder. He says he's 100%, but we'll see after that first hit how he's feeling. Without the run dominance, it's going to be hard for Kirk Cousins to get off. I think he needs to really step up in this game, not turn the ball over, and he's going to have to make some plays. Not even just manage the game, but he's going to have to make some plays.
Well, let's get into the picks, man. Who we picking? I'll let you start because you have a history of going against the Saints. I'm going to see if you're going to continue that trend or if we're going to get on the same page. Usually we're on the same page. The team we pick, they always lose. So I don't know if I even want you to be on the same page with me, but tell me who you got.
So I have gone against you, New Orleans. Thank you for at least letting me in. I thought when we flew in, getting off the airport, I didn't know if they were going to let me in the city. They let me in, welcomed me with open arms. I see. All I wrote down here was Saints from kickoff to the final whistle. Oh. I think they smack.
So you on the Saints bandwagon?
I think they. If there's room for me to get on, I'm a little hefty.
Well, you're not the smallest guy.
I'm a little 270.
You might have put on a little weight, just a little bit.
A little extra broccoli casserole.
Here you go again. Don't talk about broccoli casserole in New Orleans.
So I got the Saints from kickoff to final whistle. I think Mike T is going to make big plays. They're going to try and double team him, but they're still going to get him the ball. I think Kamara's going to be able to run the ball. I think Kamara out of the backfield. I think you got Taysom Hill's going to make plays.
The Swiss Army knife.
The Swiss Army knife. I love when you call him that.
He blocks kicks. He cuts off on the backside of runs. He runs the ball. He's catching the ball. He just scores touchdowns. He's just a playmaker.
He does it all.
And for that reason, give me a number.
38-17, not close in this one. Saints, let's go. What do you got? I know what you got.
You know who I'm going, baby. We in the know you feel me? You see the shirt, you know who I'm going with. It's black and gold. But like you alluded to earlier, the Saints have too many weapons. It's playoff time. The regular season is over. Mike T is going to have to come up big again. The one thing I like about Jared Cook, 7 touchdowns in the last 7 games. He has 9 on the year. He started a little bit slow. He was a little banged up entering the season. Throughout the middle of the season, he's been healthy. They have a 2-headed monster in Alvin Kamara and Latavius Murray. So on the offensive side of the ball, and like you said, adding in a guy like Taysom Hill, I think he's the X factor that's going to catapult the Saints past this team. Defensive-wise, they're led by Cam Jordan and Demario Davis, 2 All-Pros. Marshawn Lattimore and Eli Apple will have a big matchup on their hands. They do have to go up against Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen. And you already alluded to the Minnesota Miracle. I know Marcus Williams wants to get back at these guys. So, of course, I'm taking the Saints. I'm going 35-24 in the Dome.
There you go. Saints. Both of us are on the Saints. Last game of Wild Card weekend is going to be the Seattle Seahawks are going into Philadelphia to play the Philadelphia Eagles. Seattle's 11-5. Eagles are 9-7. These two teams played about 6 weeks ago, November 24th. It was in Philly. Seattle dominated that game. The final score was 17-9, but it wasn't even that close. They scored in the last 20 seconds. It was 17-3.
Yeah.
Wentz had 4 turnovers.
I'm not sold on Wentz.
So it was kind of a dominant game.
I'm not.
You don't like Wentz?
I'm not sold on Wentz. Yeah, keep going. Keep giving me.
So what's changed since that game? A lot of injuries out there, both sides. Rashad Penny dominated that game, 129 yards the first matchup, 58-yard touchdown run. He won't be playing. He's out with an injury. Dwayne Brown, left tackle, guy about this size, he's also out. Marshawn Lynch is a new addition. He might get some more of the workload. He saw him a little bit. He scored a touchdown last week. But Travis Homer's going to step up there too, rookie out of Miami. They're going to need him a lot. Zach Ertz and Lane Johnson are both game-time decisions, but they're likely out. So that's going to be 2 more big losses there for the Philadelphia Eagles.
I think the Eagles are really banged up. Yeah. So let's go. Let's keep it going.
Some good news for this game, if you're a Seattle fan. Russell Wilson is 4-0 all-time against the Eagles.
You gotta like those chances.
Never lost.
You gotta like those chances. Never ever.
He's been here before. Should be able to manage the game. He's going to treat it like 6 weeks ago. Not have to do too much, but do just enough to win. Mm-hmm. Some things that may affect him from getting that outcome. Not having that left tackle, Dwayne Brown. That's going to be a big loss.
That's security. But I think somebody else will step up. We'll talk about that later.
Marshawn Lynch, is he in game shape? We'll find out. He's probably going to get more load than he did last week. We're going to have to see if he can step up, Maybe how many Skittles did he eat when he wasn't playing?
Probably a handful.
We'll find out there. And this is probably the biggest factor for me, Fletcher Cox.
I would say Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham. So you got the pressure up the middle with Fletcher Cox. Then you on the outside, you got to deal with Graham. So I think that's it's a big question mark, especially not having your left tackle on Dwayne Brown. That's your security. So yeah, we'll see.
For the Eagles, this is Wentz's 4th year. He's an experienced quarterback. They had the Super Bowl run 2 years ago, but I was surprised when I saw this. This is his first career playoff game. I didn't realize that because they have been in the playoffs.
Yeah, because Nick Foles.
But he hasn't been there.
Nick Foles took him. Like I was saying earlier, I'm not sold on Carson Wentz.
Right.
And I think this game, if he wants to silence some of his doubters and start getting his arrow trending in the right way, I think this is a big game for him to step up and put some points on the board and lead his team to victory. Definitely. I don't know if he gets it done just because of the injury situations that they're dealing with. One of the best pass catchers are banged up right now. We're going to talk about it a little bit, but I'll give you a little overview now. You said Zach Ertz is gone, the right tackle Lane Johnson. So that's your security right there.
Alshon Jeffries is out.
Deshaun
Jackson's out.
Nelson Aguilar, he's questionable.
So if he doesn't play, it's going to be a
So who's he going to throw the ball to, bro? Who's going to throw the ball to?
So Greg Ward is definitely starting at one receiver. If Aguilar can play, he's going to line up at the other end. If not, you're going to have Deontay Burnett and J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. So 2 names you guys have probably never heard of out there. Somebody's going to have to step up.
Who's going to make themselves some money? Playoff time. That's what it is. That's what it's about, right? Who's going to step up? Who's going to become a household name? And be someone that Carson Wentz can throw the ball to. Who's going to be in the right place at the right time? It's that time. You're in this league for an opportunity. You don't know when the opportunity is going to come. Regular season, preseason. For some of these guys, it's going to be in the postseason. Who's going to step up big and let's make some plays?
I think it's going to be Dallas Goedert. I think he's the backup tight end who's going to have to step up for Ertz. He's going to get the shots that Ertz would have gotten, but also I think he's going to make some big plays to a level that some of the receivers should be making. And he's going to make a big name for himself. He's going to have to go up against Bobby Wagner, KJ Wright.
I'm a little worried about that. You got an all-pro in Bobby Wagner, and KJ Wright is a monster out there on the field.
But it's a great opportunity.
It is.
I mean, every successful story out there started with an opportunity.
You got to start somewhere.
And this is his opportunity. I think this is the Eagles' opportunity. Let me just keep running with that.
Oh, run with it.
Okay, 4-game win streak the Eagles are on right now.
You got to feel good
Playing
about it.
pretty well. Played well against Dallas 2 weeks ago. Was the Giants last week, but they still came through and won when they needed to. I think this is Wentz's time to shine. The one difference 6 weeks ago when they played, 4 turnovers. You clean that up, I think you're more competitive in this game. I think it's still going to be low scoring. I think the Eagles are going to take this one against a banged-up Seahawks team coming West Coast to East Coast. I'm going to follow that trend too.
Are you?
I just think it's not going to be there for Seattle. A lot going on there. I'm going to go 2017 Eagles, Philadelphia.
Eagles.
That's for you, E. Clark.
Okay. Shout out to my guy E in Philly, man. Keep holding it down. I'm going with Seattle, though, buddy. You already said it. Russell Wilson is 4-0 versus the Eagles. It's playoff time. It's crunch time. It's win or go home. Russell Wilson has been in this position before. He has been battle tested before. The Eagles playmakers are all banged up. Who is Carson Wentz going to throw the ball to? Who's he going to throw the ball to? All the big playmakers are gone. Now, I think somebody will step up because that's just the nature of the NFL. Somebody has to step up. But I don't think this is the game that happens. Their defense, the Eagles' defense will keep them in the game. That D-line, they're led by Fletcher Cox and Graham and Barnett. Barnett has 6.5. I talked about Graham earlier. He has 8.5. Fletcher Cox with 3.5. But you know what? I'm going with the experience of Russell Wilson. I think their offensive line holds up. In my notes, I believe we have George Fant is going to be the left tackle because Dwayne Brown's out. He has experience. You stick a Fetty on there on the right side. He's still in there. He's doing his thing. I like Seattle's defense, led by Jadeveon Clowney, even though he is questionable. But Ziggy Ansah, the guys they have on the edge, I'm going Seattle 24-7 in this. 24-17. I'm sorry.
There you go. Sorry, Philly fans, but he's got Saints Seahawks. I have Saints Eagles. That's our NFC Wildcard picks. We will be at the game for you Saints fans in New Orleans, so look for us if you guys are there tailgating. We'll be over at the stadium. And I hope it's a good weekend for everybody.
We'll be back.
We'll be back.